Welcome back to All-Time Greats. Today, we're diving into one of the most hotly debated topics in football, the greatest NFL dynasties of all time. These are the teams that didn't just dominate, they changed the game, set new standards, and left a legacy that still echoes across the league. So let's jump in and explore the teams that shaped NFL history forever. Starting off at number 10, we have the iconic Oakland Los Angeles Raiders, a team that from 1976 to 1983 embodied the very essence of toughness and rebellion. Led by the larger-than-life figures of John Madden and Tom Flores, the Raiders didn't just win 3 Super Bowls, they dominated with an unmistakable swagger. Their just-win-baby mentality wasn't just a motto, it was a way of life. Whether it was the fearless leadership of Ken Stabler or the defensive force of Howie Long, the Raiders became the most feared team in football, striking terror into the hearts of their opponents. And then there's Marcus Allen, a generational talent who delivered one of the most electrifying runs in Super Bowl history, sealing their 1983 championship. This team thrived on chaos and intimidation, pushing the boundaries of what it meant to be tough. But beneath that grit, they were a team that executed with surgical precision. The Raiders didn't just win games, they established a brand of football that was both feared and admired, cementing their place as one of the NFL's most legendary dynasties. At number 9, we have a team that etched its name in football immortality. A team that not only captured back-to-back Super Bowl titles, but also accomplished the impossible, an undefeated season in 1972, going a flawless 17-0. With Grease commanding the offense, they didn't just play the game, they mastered it, controlling every snap with sharp precision and backed by a defense that was unbreakable. Their perfect season wasn't just a victory, it was a declaration that perfection is possible. A feat that remains untouched and legendary to this day. Their defense, famously dubbed the no-name defense, didn't need superstars to be feared. They operated as one impenetrable force, shutting down opponents with precision, discipline, and an almost mechanical efficiency. That 1972 season was far from a fluke. It was a masterpiece of a team playing in perfect unison, with every player fulfilling their role flawlessly. Their dominance on both sides of the ball isn't just remembered, it's revered, solidifying them as one of the greatest teams to ever step onto the field. At number 8, we've got the San Francisco 49ers from 1981 to 1984. This is where it all started for Joe Montana and the 49ers dynasty. Led by the brilliant Bill Walsh and his West Coast offense, the Niners won 2 Super Bowls during this stretch and gave us one of the most iconic moments in NFL history. Dwight Clark's game-winning catch in the NFC Championship game, simply known as the catch. This dynasty was all about precision, execution, and of course, Joe Cool. Joe Montana's cool under pressure became legendary during this era. Whether it was a game-winning drive or a perfectly placed pass, Montana had the it factor. And behind him was a defense led by Ronnie Lott, one of the hardest-hitting safeties the game has ever seen. The 49ers set the stage for what would become one of the most dominant franchises in NFL history, and it all started with this era of excellence and clutch performances. At number 7, we've got the iconic Dallas Cowboys from 1992 to 1995. This team had it all. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, and the legendary Great Wall of Dallas offensive line. Under Jimmy Johnson and later Barry Switzer, the Cowboys claimed 3 Super Bowl titles and absolutely owned the NFL in the early 90s. They weren't just America's team, they were the team to beat. The Cowboys' success came from a perfect blend of talent and coaching. Troy Aikman was the calm, steady leader, while Emmitt Smith ran his way into the record books. Michael Irvin brought the swagger and intensity that defined their offense. Their offensive line dominated opponents, giving Aikman all the time in the world to make plays. And on defense, they were relentless, with stars like Charles Haley and Darren Woodson shutting down their opponents. The Cowboys of the 90s didn't just win, they dominated the league with style. At number 6, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting in 2019, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have put together one of the most explosive offenses the NFL has ever seen. With 3 Super Bowl titles under their belt and counting, the Chiefs have dominated the AFC with 6 straight championship game appearances. Mahomes' ability to make plays on the fly combined with Travis Kelce's dominance at tight end has made the Chiefs the most exciting team to watch in recent memory. But it's not just the offense that makes the Chiefs dangerous. Under defensive coordinator Spags, their defense has stepped up in crucial moments with players like Chris Jones, who is a game wrecker on the defensive line. This Chiefs dynasty is still unfolding, but with Mahomes at the helm and Reid on the sidelines, it feels like we're watching a team that could stay dominant for years to come. At number 5, we enter the second phase of the New England Patriots dynasty, from 2014 to 2019, a period where greatness reached its peak. In this era, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and Bill Belichick didn't just win, they conquered, adding 3 more Super Bowl titles to their legacy. The crown jewel? That legendary 28-3 comeback against the Falcons in Super Bowl 51. Performance that transcended the sport and became the stuff of myth. This era wasn't just about winning, it was about redefining resilience and delivering when the stakes were highest, time and time again. Gronk dominated the field like a colossus, while Julian Edelman made catches that defied belief, etching their names in football lore. This stretch wasn't just about adding rings, it cemented Brady's status as the greatest of all time and Belichick's genius as untouchable. Together, they forged an era that set the standard for what a modern NFL dynasty truly looks like. At number 4, we've got the legendary Green Bay Packers of the 1960s. Led by the great Vince Lombardi, the Packers won 5 NFL championships, including the first 2 Super Bowls. Bart Starr was the steady hand at quarterback, and Lombardi's disciplined, no-nonsense approach turned Green Bay into a dynasty. The Packers set the standard for greatness in the early NFL, and it's no surprise the Super Bowl trophy is named after their iconic coach. His influence went far beyond the sidelines, transforming the game with meticulous preparation and a relentless focus on fundamentals. The famous power sweep became a signature play, succeeding through flawless execution. The team was built on toughness and discipline, perfectly embodying the vision he set. This team didn't just win, they established the blueprint for what a true dynasty should be. At number 3, we've got the second phase of the San Francisco 49ers dynasty. From 1988 to 1994, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, this team was stacked. With 3 Super Bowl titles in this period, the 49ers dominated the late 80s and early 90s. Montana led the charge early on, and when he passed the torch to Steve Young, the dynasty kept rolling. And let's not forget Jerry Rice, arguably the greatest receiver of all time, who was an unstoppable force throughout this era. Montana and Young were 2 of the most gifted quarterbacks in NFL history, and both benefited from having Jerry Rice as their go-to receiver. Rice's work ethic and precision route running made him impossible to stop, and he shattered records throughout this era. Whether it was Montana's calm under pressure or Young's mobility and accuracy, the 49ers had a quarterback legacy that few teams could ever match. This dynasty wasn't just built on talent, it was built on greatness at every position. At number 2, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 1970s. From 1974 to 1979, this team was nearly unbeatable, winning 4 Super Bowls and making history as the first team to do so. Led by Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, and the Steel Curtain defense, the Steelers defined toughness and power football. They were physical, relentless, and played with a blue-collar mentality that mirrored their city. The Steelers weren't just a great team, they were a force of nature. The Steel Curtain defense was one of the most dominant in NFL history. With Mean Joe Green, Jack Lambert, and Mel Blount, they punished offenses and shut down games. Terry Bradshaw, often criticized for his inconsistency, showed up when it mattered most, winning 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Franco Harris and the famous Immaculate Reception became part of NFL lore, and this dynasty cemented itself as the greatest defensive dynasty in the game's history. And here we are at number 1, the legendary New England Patriots dynasty from 2001 to 2007. This era wasn't just about winning, it was about the birth of a football empire. With a young Tom Brady under center and the tactical genius of Bill Belichick on the sidelines, they transformed the NFL. In just 6 years, they claimed 3 Super Bowl titles and marched through the 2007 regular season with an unforgettable, undefeated 16-0 run. From the miracle of the tuck rule game to Brady's ice-cold game-winning drives, this team didn't just thrive under pressure, they thrived in defining moments. What made the Patriots truly legendary was their ability to dominate, year after year, no matter the obstacles. Their consistency was unmatched, as Belichick's brilliant defensive schemes and Brady's rise from a late-round pick to football greatness forged a dynasty that seemed invincible. They didn't just change the game, they reshaped what it meant to be a dynasty in the modern NFL, building the foundation for 2 decades of dominance. That's the list. The greatest NFL dynasties of all time. These teams didn't just win, they dominated entire eras, leaving legacies that shaped the history of this NFL. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to All Time Greats, and drop a comment below with your favorite dynasty. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.